Okay, hey guys. I'm online, waiting for everybody to join us. Just a second. Just waiting for a message from my team to get to know is how's everything on the participation. Okay. Unfortunately, I cannot speak to you directly, like when everyone is connected and we can have small talks or something like that. And also my screen is reflecting in my glasses. This is also a cool thing. This is actually my first online webinar or lecture, let's say so. So don't judge too hard. Okay. Just waiting for everyone to join. Okay, we have only 17 people right now, so we should wait a little bit. Okay, I see your comments, and that's great. Thank you. Thank you. Hi. Hi to Norway and all the countries and all the cities. This is interesting, the time we're living in right now. We're much more connected than we've been a few months before. And this is something new. Okay. Okay, my friend from Korea. You cannot see me. That's strange. And India is also here. Hello. Guys, so can you... In Finland, hey. Multinational webinar we have today. Can you see me, right? Like we have only one person who has... The screen is black. Okay. If you have any problems with the video or sound, please let me know. We will try to manage this. Okay, we will wait for 2 minutes more and we will start. I will share my screen and share the presentation we've prepared for this webinar together with my team. Okay, video is fine. That's good. Okay, let's begin. Let's go. So I guess most of you know me, but I will start with a small intro. You can see our logo on the background. I'm a CEO of WeAR Studio. My name is Daria. I started this company almost 5 years ago. Our main focus in AR and VR technology usage for business objectives. And today we're going to have, let's say, more or less general webinar session on AR and VR usage in different industries, particularly in marketing, in smart cities, and also professional education, let's say human resources industry. So reduce the quality. Okay. Just a second, I will ask my team to manage the situation. Okay. Yeah, so let me share the presentation and let's go. So today we're going to talk about AR and VR uses in marketing, professional education, and smart cities, as I told before. And the first thing we're going to talk today is marketing industry. And AR is really reshaping this industry for last few years, exactly. But like it's still growing, and big brands and enterprises and marketing departments, they're still considering AR as something innovative, as new technology for some of their campaigns or activities in the market. And here we have some numbers on how AR is going to reshape the marketing industry, the industry of PR activities and communication with end customers. We can see that nearly half of consumers would more likely do shopping if they have AR or VR instrument in it. We can see that AR market should grow to 1 billion users already till the end of this year. And I can expect that the number of these users will extremely grow given the situation with Corona and with the lockdown, when everyone are disconnected and sitting at home. AR is one of the powerful instruments in this situation because AR is bringing all the content, all the activities right into your environment, right into your space. And that means that you shouldn't go somewhere. You already have this content right next to you or even on yourself. So I believe it will be more than 1 billion users. And the majority of augmented reality users fall into the 16 to 34 years old. So this means that we have a quite good range of, let's say, age, right? And we can talk to the young generations as well as to adults and millennials. So that means that we can use different type of contexts and different strategic, let's say, instruments for using AR and VR in our activities and marketing campaigns. Let's go next. Today, we can see that brands are using AR and VR in different ways. Some of them are already usual to us. For example, the using AR on the packaging. I bet you have seen a lot of use cases when you point your camera on the product packaging and you can see some activation, as on this picture, some 3D model appears, or some video or activation on the packaging. This is quite a great experience, and I love that you can use that in shop or even at home or anyone else. You just have to have this product and the application. And today you shouldn't even have the application. I will talk about it a little bit later. Then branded filters. This is one of the huge trends at the moment, because for marketing and for communication activities, brands are using social media, especially the face filters with augmented reality for communication, because there is your target audience if we talk about the young generation, about the Generation Z or even Alpha. This is an interesting fact. Then the guerrilla marketing, also interesting thing. I will talk about it more in detail with the next slide. And the volumetric video. This is also one of the directions how the brands and enterprises are using this type of content in their AR and VR experiments. This is, let's say, like a 3D video. It is captured from all the angles, and this is how the video became in 3D dimensions. It's not flat, but it's still video, and it's easy to render on the existing new devices, and especially given the 5G opportunities, volumetric videos is one of the coolest, I would love to say that, type of content for AR and VR experiences. So let's go to the specific use case. I will do a small intro. This use case is the winner of Webby Awards this year. This is the KFC case and how they used augmented reality in their activation. This is what I have said before about guerrilla marketing. Let's check that out.
Herzlich willkommen bei McDonald's. Mein Name ist, kann ich für Sie tun?
Guten Tag, Burger King Deutschland hier. Kurze Frage, könnten wir vielleicht eine Anzeige im Kinomagazin von McDonald's schalten?
Was meinen Sie jetzt mit Burger King in das Heft bekommen?
Ja, genau.
Nein, das ist leider nicht möglich.
We made the impossible possible and placed an ad in McDonald's own movie magazine. In every one of the 800,000 magazines, and therefore in every McDonald's in Germany. Made possible by. Coincidentally, just when Chapter 2 of the most famous horror clown saga was released. On the day of the launch, we took the magazine and turned the article into an augmented reality marker.
Die Seite reißt auf, Ballons fliegen raus.
And every McDonald's turned into a Burger King horror experience. We reached McDonald's customers with geolocated push notifications and social media ads. And the customers quickly came to us for a Whopper.
Ja, keine Ahnung, was da passiert ist.
The distance to the nearest Burger King was calculated by the app using the customer's GPS data, and then created a coupon that was limited to that exact distance. Horrifying for McDonald's, but hugely successful for us.
Okay, so this case is quite a guerrilla marketing, and if you have lost the beginning, the thing is that KFC used the magazine of McDonald's to place their advertising and augmented reality in their magazine. This is how they did that. Nobody knows. I guess that they had some spy in the team of McDonald's, or I don't know. I wouldn't say that for sure. But they have used this printed magazine as a marker for their AR activation for their users. And you can see the numbers, they are incredible. Like 800,000 printed ads reached all over the Germany. In every McDonald's restaurant, they have their advertisement in the McDonald's magazine. They have coverage for the 4 million McDonald's customers, and the installation of their app and registrations increased by 180%. This is something mind-blowing, and this is an amazing use case of augmented reality and not usual strategy for marketing and for using the printed media. And also you can see that restaurant traffic increased by almost 12%. I guess that was the end goal. So as I said before, they were the winners of the Webby Awards this year. Also an interesting fact that only a few years ago, Webby Awards added the AR and VR component into their list of the nominees and the industries they work with. So today you can apply for to be a nominee in AR and VR use cases in PR, communications, and marketing as well. I love this case a lot. So let's go next. Next one is the example of how we used AR technology for marketing activation for one of our clients in Ukraine. Some of you have already seen it, and the interesting story is that we have used this technology for this particular client 2 years, in 2018 and in 2019, for Christmas activation. And I will tell you a little bit more details after the video, so let's go.
Successful experience working with augmented reality for holiday season, OCO has returned to us with a new, brightest and biggest idea. They wanted to add interactivity to an already known concept. This year, you're already able to collect the cups with characters that will play a Christmas song for you. Not only you're able to listen to Christmas songs, you can also interact and sing a karaoke with them. The reward? You can get discounts for buying stuff from OKO gas stations.
So this case is great because we love this client, and it's also a story of how the project is growing and developing. Last year, it was just an activation on the Coffee Mugs with the 3D objects on it. And we increased the sales numbers, and also we increased, the main goal was to increase the time of spending time at the gas station from in average 7 minutes up to 20 minutes in average. And this year we have integrated into their loyalty system. So we were connected to the all the logic of the discounts and this mechanic of using these discounts in different circumstances. And we connected it to the karaoke module we had in our application. That was also quite a challenge because no one before did the karaoke on Unity in augmented reality. That was quite interesting. We spent several months working on this module, and we are so proud we did it. Actually, I'm thinking about sharing this module on Unity Asset Store, so all the other developers, they can use this. We'll see how it goes. We need to refresh it, but still. So the results were quite great. We have more than 700,000 downloads. More than 120,000 people sang karaoke, and we have helped OKO, our client, to sell around 300,000 liters of the fuel, of the gas, it's for their clients through this application. So the mechanic was like, you have a coffee mug, you have an application, you scan it, you sing the karaoke together with your character, and you get the discount based on how good are you in singing Christmas songs. So this is a great example of how you can use from the end customer like a fun activation, but from the business side, this is something that works on boosting the sales and brand awareness and pushing sales more. Let's go next. Actually, I believe some of you have those coffee mugs on your side. I think some of my Korean friends, you should have it. Okay, let's go. What are the predictions on the role of AR in marketing for the near future? Some of these predictions are based on the market research, some of them based on my feelings and understanding of the market. So the first trend is augmented reality is a novel way of shopping. This is quite true because I can already see the number of startups growing in this industry using of AR and VR for shopping. I can see the big companies like Facebook and Apple and Google are going into this direction as well. They're working on their products. They're working on the hardware as well. So this will be like one of the easy to use and everyday routine when you will use AR or VR in your shopping experiences every day. We just need to wait a little bit for it. The next trend is filters in Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, Snapchat, and any other social media which will exist in the nearest future. As I said before, brands and marketing departments and startups, enterprise, corporate clients, they know where is their target audience. And if they know that they have even a part of this target audience in social media, now they can contact them, now they can communicate with them with the augmented reality activations, with the filters in the face, with the filters. And I just noticed that Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok filters and Snapchat filters, let's say, they're not only connected to your face. You can also place the content in the space of the user. You can also interact with the hands and all the other parts of the environment. So this is a huge trend, and I believe that a lot of companies will go in this direction. Last year, we have started the activation together with Pepsi USA. We have created 100 filters for Instagram activation. This year, we also planned it, but it was postponed thanks to Corona. But still, I can already see that big brands are going into it. The third one is my favorite one, is Web AR. This is a huge, big part of this market, and Web AR is when you don't need the app itself. You can use the web link, you can use the web page where the AR module will be integrated, and you just go as a usual website link, and then your camera opens and you can interact with the face, with the environment, with the markers as well. For sure, we have some nuances and details due to rendering, to the graphic quality, and so on and so forth. But still, this is already a good beginning. Already 5 years ago, Mozilla browser, they were working on AR browser, and I've heard it, and I already then I understood that that will be a big trend. But today we can see that Google has it in Android and the last devices. Apple has done it. Also, there are a few, let's say, platforms as Zapier or 8Wall for using web AR in your websites. So this is a huge trend, and this is a great alternative if you understand that the mobile application is a barrier for your users to use AR. Because I have seen a lot of clients and companies who wanted to use augmented reality application, but then they did the research and they understood that it is a barrier. No one wants to download another app for one-time use and then delete it, especially when it comes to the in-store activations or somewhere out of home. You need to have a very strong value communication to your end user to prove that they should download this app. If you don't have it, you should better use Web AR, or you should better find that value. Okay, the next trend is body recognition from Facebook. This is something very fresh and still not so, let's say, not so deeply knowing module in augmented and virtual reality industry, but still this is something that will open the doors for trying on different products, because this is the dream for all of the retailers and the e-commerce clients and even the AR and VR developers. We could not try on the clothes and different accessories and so on and so forth because we did not have the recognition of the body and the tracking in real time in a 3D of a human body. We could only track some parts of the body, let's say the head or hands or face, but when you can track all the body, you can put on any product you want on it and it will be realistic and it will feel like real. So it will open the doors into e-commerce and retail shopping experiences a lot. And I think it will also open into rehabilitation scenarios as well, because when you can track the body, you can track the data from the body movements, and you can also use augmented and mixed reality solutions in this industry as well. Okay, let's go next. Mixed reality is more common. Yeah, this is the last but not the least. Mixed reality is getting more common thanks to a lot of use cases in industrial field. A lot of companies like Airbus, Volvo, and so on, they use mixed reality on board. They use it internally. They use it for predictive maintenance, for communication inside of the team, and especially in times of Corona. And I see the trend and tendency that the hardware, which is the biggest barrier in this industry at the moment, it will become more cheaper and it will be more affordable for all the other companies and all the other who wants to try AR in mixed reality in like HoloLens or Magic Leap. Yeah, sorry, Magic Leap is not already at the market, but still, there are a list of these glasses, and I can see that the trend is also in hardware development, because the VR glasses that have been only VR before, as Oculus or HTC Vive or even Vario. They are moving into mixed reality at the moment. They are using the external cameras and algorithms to analyze the space around you, as HoloLens does, and keeping the virtual objects and virtual components into your space, into your environment. This is a huge trend, and you will see much more cases on the market in the nearest few years. Okay, let's go next. The next module is AR and VR in professional education. I spent some time on the market research and understood that we have a huge problem. Around 2.3 million people, they are facing the work-related accidents and diseases every year. And there are a lot of death accidents as well. Unfortunately, we're still at this point. And I'm not saying that AR and VR will solve this problem totally, like 100%, and no one will die or get the disease because of the professional high-risk situations. But still, it can cover a part of this problem. It could solve a part of it, especially on the early stages. Let's go next. How we can do that? We can use AR and VR in professional education at some specific stages. On newcomers onboarding training, when people only joining the team and they're not aware of what will be happening in the next 6 months or 1 year, they can go through this experience in virtual or augmented reality. They can get used to it. The neural connections in their brain will be created, and the muscle memory will also be there. So when it comes to the real work experience, they will already have this memory. And the statistics said that usually the onboarding of the newcomers takes around 6 months or even more. But with the help of virtual reality experiences and trainings, you can reduce this number up to 3 months. This is quite impressive, especially if you do the calculation in some big industrial company when you have the newcomers numbers like hundreds and thousands of people. Okay, let's go next. Equipment, vehicles, and facility training. This is also something which could solve the problem of the accidents in the workplace, because working with the specific machinery is always a high risk, and for the human who's working and for the machinery as well, because stupid people can do some stupid things, and the machinery could also be damaged. So the VR experiences, you can bring any scenario you want. You can bring any environment you want. You can bring any machinery into it, and you can teach your employees to work with it. And you can go through any experience, you can examine, you can evaluate. Yeah, this is the next stage. Skills evaluation, performance tracking, annual testing, and exams. This is something that is usually stressful for everyone to go through exams, and people are depressed about it also sometimes. Doing it in virtual or augmented reality, you can bring some gamification to it, and when the person is in virtual environment, they feel safe. They feel like they're going through some game experience, and they act naturally. And this is how you can really understand the motivation of your employees. You can understand the real value of the knowledge they have, and the real level of the skills they perform, and how do they perform it usually. So virtual reality is quite good experience for exams and annual testing. Okay, the next one is emergency training. You can imagine that like fire on the industrial object or any emergency situation cannot be recreated in real life. You can only experience it in real when it comes, right? So in virtual reality, you can recreate any specific emergency situation. You can train and repeat as many times as you need. Right before you have all these skills, you have all this muscle memory, you can also train your employees in groups. For example, if you have a working team in some high-risk unit, you can train them and teach them how to act in an emergency situation all together, because everyone can have their own role in this process, and they can help each other, and they can train the teamwork in this emergency situation. Workplace simulations, also something which is connected to all of these parts I have talked before. So you can simulate any workplace situation, any process, any scenario, especially when it comes to the work with people. You can simulate the difficult situations with the customers, or critical situations with the customers, or some conflict situations, and you can teach your employees, your teams, how to act in these situations. And also remote supervision and repairing and maintenance. This is also something that can be done in virtual and augmented and mixed reality. Actually, there are already several instruments in the market. For example, PTC, they have a Chalk project. This is how you can be connected with your co-workers through augmented reality experience, and they can help you, and they can do some supervision or let's say assistance in some workplace situations. So let's go to the use case, because I'm talking a lot here. This is a great use case from Airbus, one of the recent one done with the second edition of the HoloLens. And I've chosen a part of this video. I can share a full video after it, or you can just Google Airbus HoloLens 2 and you will see this full video. They have used HoloLens for different departments, for the industrial design, for the predictive maintenance, for construction, and also for sales and business development. But this part is for predictive maintenance and work with the machinery. Let's take a look.
On the manufacturing side, we use HoloLens 2 to enable the workers to achieve complex tasks, or tasks that require an intense reading of documentation, while finally they're hands-free and they can access complex areas, they can handle heavy parts, while having all the information they need right in front of their eyes. So we strongly believe that mixed reality can bring...
Yeah, sorry. It just stopped in the middle of the sentence, but still, you have seen this example, how you can use HoloLens and your hands are free, and you can work with the machinery, you can work with the vehicles, and see the overlay, and you can read the documentation, or you can listen to the documentation, or you can see the some visualization on how it should be, and you can compare. So like there are a lot of scenarios how you can use that, but when you see this real example how they did it, now you can like start from this point, and you can ideate, and you can just imagine what can be done in all the other industries, in all the other companies who are manufacturing something or having the like technical support of the machinery they produced, and so on. This is the example of the virtual reality solution we've built. It includes the different modes. You can go through the simulation, you can go through the examination, or you can also be in the multiplayer. Here is the thing I just want to share with you. Like, you can have the curriculum of the for studying and educating your students, right? You can have some scenarios, or you can have some understanding of what you want to have in the result. But don't forget that you can go deeper, and you can connect to the real-time data from the sensors and sending units from the real environment and machinery, if we're talking about some industrial cases. Also, you can use a 3D visualization of existing modules, or even you can recreate something that is still under the design. You can also use VR and AR as a predictive maintenance solution for some of the scenarios. You can use a multiplayer to go through the simulation together with your team, so you can learn how to do the decision-making process in high-risk situation or in conflict situations as well. All of this can be recreated in virtual reality. There is no limitation for it. You just need the VR glasses and a PC for it, and then it will work, especially considering the situation that the hardware developers that are working on the wireless solutions and the wireless glasses. I believe that in a few years it will be not a problem to use just the VR glasses wirelessly connected to your PC, and you can go through any simulation you want, plus 5G, plus cloud rendering. That will be amazing. Yeah, and the last but not the least, again, here we have the backend, which calculates the real-time physics based on the mathematical models and algorithm simulation. That means that you can calculate any data from the user experience. You can collect this data, you can analyze it, you can understand the behavior of your user, in this situation of your coworkers, employees, and so on. You can understand how much time does it take them to make some decision or to go through some experience. How do they do it? What is the step-by-step scenario for them? You can also navigate through this scenario. You can have the real data, which you cannot have in real life. You can have it, but you should spend a lot of time on it, right? But in virtual reality, you can capture all of this data right in real time, and you can be aware of it. And you know that data rocks, right? Let's go next. The trends of AR and VR in professional education. What will be the next step in this industry? I'm quite sure that you have seen like a lot of use cases and experiences with the hard skills training, as I showed you before. But still, I'm sure that companies and enterprises will use virtual and augmented reality training solutions to boost the soft skills as well, because we can see that more and more companies are coming to understand that you should find the golden mean between the soft and hard skills. For sure, it depends on the profession, it depends on the company, but still, like there is a case, Starbucks. Yeah, a few years ago, they used virtual reality to train their employees to be loyal to different types of their customers, because they have seen that there is a problem in their restaurants, in their cafes, that their workers are not loyal to different groups of people. So they used virtual reality to show them how can they act in different situations, in different scenarios. Multi-platform is also a trend in professional education usage of AR and VR. What I mean, you can use virtual reality in some cases for some group of your workers and employees. But there is some group of people who are not aware what the heck is VR, and they don't want to use that, especially it comes when you have an adults, like super adults in your team, people who are not aware of mobile applications. And when you ask them to use VR, that will be a stress for them. Or there could be like some professional situations when it's not very comfortable to use VR or AR or mixed reality. So you can combine, for some of the group of people, you can use VR. At the same time, you can use the mobile platform as a more simple solution for people who are not really aware of VR. And also you can use the smart glasses or augmented reality as a middle solution for those who are in the field, who are always on their legs and running from one department to another. This is what I'm talking about. Like you can transform your solution into different platforms and you can use it in different departments, but still like one platform with one source of data, with analytics and with the one goal for it. Connectivity. This is also a huge trend. Again, thanks to Corona, we were so disconnected before. So right now we're super connected. We have all the video chats, we have video calls and conferences, and VR and AR in professional education and professional relationships. This is something that can connect people so much, because you are like literally, you can be in the space and environment of your colleague, or you can be a part of some virtual experience altogether, and this bring like on the next level of the connectivity, let's say so. And data collection, I'm always saying that data rocks, and we need to analyze, we need to collect data from each user session, because what's the reason then? What to do next if you're not collecting and analyzing your data from the user sessions? This is that we should always remember. Even if you don't want to develop something super sophisticated and complex, you can always use Google Analytics, some metrics from it, and that will be enough for the start, for the first step. Let's go next. The next one is smart cities ecosystem. It is still very fresh. Not everyone understands what smart cities is, and not not everyone understands how to use AR and VR in smart cities. But still, there is a field for cooperation and collaboration and usage of these technologies in smart cities ecosystem. So let's go into details. The first and the most obvious one is using AR and VR for big data visualization. This is the most simplest way how you can do that. How you can use AR and VR. In smart cities, they collect and analyze a huge part of data. And it connected to real sending units and sensors and all the data from the previous periods, and they try to predict it. And usually when you have the flat screen with the analytics in numbers and rows and data, then it's quite challenging to be focused on it and to be really immersed into these data reports. Virtual and augmented reality is quite a great instrument for data visualization. You can be right inside of this data. After this webinar, I can share video with you. One of the developers, they've done like a small demo of using VR for data visualization. It's super great. The next one is city mapping. You can do the capturing of the city as a 3D model, real-time capturing and mapping. And then you can use this 3D model, 3D asset of the city in your VR and AR experiments and different experiences. So this is also one of the trends and one of the most obvious usage in smart cities ecosystem. Predictive maintenance for urban utilities. You should not go and fix some problem in pipeline or somewhere. You should be acknowledged about it, right? And you should use some of the immersive solutions if you can do that. So AR and VR is one of the, let's say, best solutions to visualize this information, this data, right on top of the city. You can imagine an engineer wearing the smart glasses. They can look at the urban building and having all the information on the conditions and state of this building and all the warnings and errors he or she should pay attention to, and then go into the maintenance process. Okay, the next one is digital twins for hypothesis testing. This is also an interesting fact because we already have all the mathematical models, we already have all the algorithms. We're not just combining this virtual immersive experiences together with mathematical models and using it for smart cities. This is what I'm talking about. Like you can recreate the digital replica of your city And then you can play God with it. You can recreate any idea you have in your mind, and you can see what will be the behavior of your city, how it will change due to the change of some of the conditions. The next one is real-time visualization of urban flows. This is also something incredible. You can visualize this data, and you can see all the flows of all the data around the city, and that will give you more deep understanding and visual understanding of the data. Urban planning is also one of the great cases. I will show you one use case in this module from MIT, and you will see the real usage. And the public servants training. I always say that smart cities should have smart people in it, right? And if we're talking about smart people in smart city in 21st century, then we should use innovative and immersive technologies to make the education and training much more effective and reduce the time for this training with the help of XR technologies. So let's go to the use cases. This one is just for you to dream a little bit about it, to imagine how it could be done, how it could be in 5 or in 10 years from now. Because I wouldn't say unfortunately, but this is like the fact that we don't have so much use cases of AR and VR technologies in smart cities. And smart cities itself is one of the something new in our everyday routine in our life, and it's only growing. And we should wait a little bit to see the real number of the use cases in this industry. But still, we can already see some imaginary of how it can be done, especially in different movies. So this one is right about it.
There's an accident ahead. Should I show you an alternate route?
Yes. Show bio. Save to libraries.
Oh, hey, Jordan.
Hey, Rory.
Yeah.
I saw this on my ride in. Might be cool.
Okay, so this is the case, one of the visualization and video production and how it could be in life when we use augmented and virtual reality technologies. In this case, mixed reality through the glasses or eye lenses. We'll see how it goes, how the market will react and grow in this direction. But still, this is a great example. And I love it, and it could inspire a lot of teams and developers and companies worldwide to develop these solutions in smart cities ecosystem with AR and VR technologies. And the next use case is the real one done by MIT. They build and they plan cities using Lego and augmented reality. Let's take a look.
Working on urban modeling and simulation. We're using Lego bricks and projection with augmented reality. It's the intermingling of the knowledge and experience of designers with people that really understand the technology and what's possible. So one can look at changes in density, changes in the location of elements, new types of mobility systems. You start with data visualization. So for example, the movement patterns of people. So we can take that kind of information and think about how to provide alternative ways of getting around to private automobiles. There's an interesting correlation between conditions like heart disease and diabetes, obesity, and people's proximity to parks and bike lanes and more walkable communities. So we think we can begin to quantify the impact of design on wellness.
That's a great example. I love it so much. It's always about the way how our brain is working with the data around us. And as we can see that it's much more easier for a human being to perceive this information, this data through the 3D, through the touching mechanics, when you can fill these small pieces of Lego, you can put it all around you, you can see in augmented reality projected right over it, and you can see the changes and dynamics around it. I'm pretty sure that something like that can be done totally in smart glasses, when you can see the 3D model as a hologram of the city, and you can interact with it with your voice, with your gaze and gestures, but still having something physical, having something touchable, that brings you the feeling of presence and connection. So this is one of the current use cases of AR and VR in smart cities. So we'll see how the market will grow. We are in negotiation with a few companies in the moment who are going to use AR and VR in smart cities. I'm super excited about it, and as far as we have some showcase to share, I will definitely do that, because I can see a huge potential in this industry, in this field, and actually it is like asking for it, like bring AR and VR into smart cities. So we will do it. Okay, let's do next. What trends are in smart cities ecosystem with using AR and VR technologies? Smart people training. This is something I have told before, and I will emphasize on it once again. We should use AR and VR technologies for training people who will be servants in smart cities, who will build the smart cities, who will plan the urban flows, and so on. If you want to have the effective education, it's totally proved that you should use AR and VR for it. The digital twins for testing emergency situations. I'm quite sure that AR and VR is the safe environment where you can test any emergency situation, any high-risk situation, any scenario, based on the mathematical models, based on the algorithms, based on the simulation models that are already existing, and on the previous data you have from the previous periods or previous emergency situations you already had in your city. So this is how you can prevent it, this is how you can simulate it, this is how you can see how it will react. Smart cities immersive analytics, this is something that goes next, because in each simulation, in each digital twin, we capture the data, we understand it, we analyze it, and we use it for the next generation of this digital twin, the next stage of the simulations and planning and analyzing. And the tourism. Okay, I will add this first 3 segments of trends is for internal usage in the teams who are planning the smart cities, who are developing it. And the fourth one, the tourism, is external usage. It's about this sweet dream when you are in a new city, going through some main street, and you just point your camera on the different buildings around you on the streets, and you see all the data around you. Or you're doing it in smart glasses or smart lenses that will be in a few years from now, and you can see all the data about the restaurants, cafes, hospitals, hotels, and anything else. This is something that people have been dreaming before a lot, and we had, like, I cannot even calculate how many clients and potential customers we had who wanted such a solution. But given the situation of the hardware side and software side and the data collected in one place, we could not do it. But today I see the tendency, I see this trend, and I see that it's already much more possible to create such a solution today than yesterday. And for sure, it is exciting what can we develop already tomorrow with the solutions, with the software, with the hardware we already have. And the smart cities is one of the components in this tourism platform, because I believe that in smart cities, they have all this data about all the vendors and pieces of the city. So we can be connected to it, and we can visualize this data in this tourism platform. Okay, let's go next. Okay, next is Q&A session. I tried to keep it short, not to take so much time from your working Tuesday. So please write down your questions in our chat. I will go to the next slide with the QR code with my contact. It will be the last slide. So if you have any questions or comments or ideas which you want to discuss, just write it in the chat, and we would have 20 minutes, or we'll see how it goes, so we can discuss it. Let's go. Okay. Okay, I see there was a comment that nowadays there is a huge demand on AR filters. Web AR will be a huge market in 21, 22. Yeah, definitely agree that the AR filters in Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat is one of the huge demand. That's true. What should I consider before starting AR project development? You should consider first who will use this AR application or AR solution, who will be the target audience, in what circumstances will they use it, will it be at home, will it be in store, should they have some marker image, or should they have some specific hardware for it. And based on this, then you should go and plan the scenario, the user experience scenario step by step, through which user experiences they will go through. In some cases, you should start with the AR first. In other cases, you should start with a tutorial or some instruction, step-by-step instruction. In some cases, you should start with the catalog or a list of the let's say products or items you want to have there. So it always depends on the end goal. You should understand it from the beginning. What do you want to achieve with this application? Do you want to bring the brand awareness, or do you want to boost the sales, or something else? You should understand it, and you should use the call to action inside of it. And for sure, considering the target audience, you will understand what type of devices do they use, so you can understand what type of technology should you use for your AR project. For example, if your target audience is using some old Android devices, you should better use some basic AR marker-based Vuforia or something like that. If some of your target audience are using the newest devices, you can use last ARKit, AirCore, or even geo-based AR activations. So you should understand who are your users, how they will use it, where they will use it, in what circumstances, what is the end goal, what should be the call to action, and then what technology to use for it. I think that this is one of the main things you should consider before starting your AR project. But for sure, there are a lot of nuances and details inside of it. Even when it comes to marker-based technology, there is a number of types how you can go it. So I can talk about it a lot. But I hope I have answered your question. It was a question from Christina. Okay, let's go next. Do you have any plan about motion capture data or volumetric video with resources of VAR Studio? Actually, we're not capturing by ourselves. We have a few partners who have the studios and who have all these hardware and cameras and sensors to do the capturing and to do the filming. So I don't have some specific plans on it, because in this case, we should invest into this hardware and into the studio setup. But still, at this stage, I think that it makes sense to work with the partners. And then if we will see the traction, if we will see that market feedback is so positive and we will have like hundreds of clients who want to use volumetric video, then I can think about it. But still, like it's more about working with the partners. Okay, any thoughts on AR with music? Yeah, I've seen a few cases on using AR to visualize the music and the sounds. It was quite impressive, but like it's more of a one-time use, you know, like when you just experienced it, you saw that you can use AR for visualizing the music and the how it flows and the melody. But this is not something that will be the everyday usage, you know. It was just, I did the research on the Apple Store and what kind of AR applications that they have. So this one was one of those apps. I just tried it and that's all. I have not seen something like really in this industry. What I have seen that artists and musicians, they have used augmented reality for communication with their audience. They have used it to promote their concerts or new albums, or they have used Facebook or Instagram filters. Actually, we did the filter for Black Eyed Peas when they had their new song, how it was, I forgot the name of this song. Yeah, so we did the Instagram filter for this song, and when they launched it, they have it as a part of the activation. Okay, let's go next. What do you think will be the next AR killer feature in the next few years? I think it will be the body recognition. This is something that everyone were waiting for, and this is one of the biggest pain points in using AR in e-commerce and retail. So I think it will solve a lot of challenges in this industry. Aiming my recent findings among AR usage, I think AR portal is very much perfect fit to this contact tourism era. Yeah, definitely. This could be one of the biggest components in this platform, in this concept, let's say. So we can discuss it in person after that. But yeah, totally agree. Okay, how will AR help school students in their education? Any views? Actually, it could help incredibly, because the school students, it's a young generation, and they're perceiving the information in totally different way if they compare with adults, because they have been born in the world with the smartphones and different technologies, and they're not used to read books or to perceive the information in the old style. They have changed a lot. And I'm quite sure that using this XR industry, this XR technologies for visualization of the of all the curriculum will help a lot to understand it better. Because as you remember, one of the things that I always say, this is the saying from philosopher. What was his name? Okay, I forgot, but still, he said, I hear, I forgot, I see, I remember, I do, I understand. Yeah, Confucius said that. Yeah, thank you, Vika. When this part of doing in schools is almost so small. They only hear and they only see and they only write, but they're not doing. But in mixed reality, in virtual reality, students in schools can do a lot, can interact with this content. And this is how they can understand how it all is built up, how it all is in physics and chemistry and astronomy and all the other sciences. So I believe it can help a lot. Okay, what best practices to follow when it comes to 3D content creation for AR, better quality but lower file size. In this case, you should understand on what type of devices will you render these 3D models. But for sure, you can reduce the number of polygons. You can also work with the textures and materials on your 3D model. You can also combine some of the photogrammetry and work hands done, like modeling in 3D Max or in Maya. You can combine different technologies for it, because sometimes the old style 3D models as CAD formats, they're not usable for AR and VR because they're so heavy, they have like millions of polygons. So you should do the research on the technologies you have, and you should always consider the limitations of the technology you use for augmented reality. If it is the marker-based, they have these limitations. If it is web AR, you should also understand what are the limitations and try to fit it. Okay, the next question is, what do you think of AR portals' possibility and adaptability to the film tourism? Yeah, I think it is a great idea, and I totally believe that if you can immerse users into the storytelling, it will become the story living. And the portal is one of the simplest way how you can do that. It's one of the most natural thing how you can perform it, you know. So you already have the content in film industry. You already have a 360 scenes or even a flat scenes that you can transform into 360. And the portals is one of the first stage you can go with. And I'm pretty sure if to combine with the 5G network and the location-based activations, plus adding some experiences and interactions inside of it, and multiplayers and sharing in social media, that will be amazing. Okay, the next one is AR portals very much perfect fit. Boom Boom Pow. No, it was not Boom Boom Pow. It was something I can't remember now. Maybe someone from my team can share the name of the song of Black Eyed Peas. We've done the filter for them. How much is the estimated budget of this AR app like Coffeeoka? Okay, the estimated budget was around $30,000, if I'm not mistaken. Surely I can't remember the exact number, but that was the budget. It includes the client part application on Android and iOS. It also included the backend part with the data analytics and all the renderings of the 3D models and content. I believe it was something around that. Okay, guys, so do you have any other questions? Yeah, that was Ritmo. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so if you have any other questions, we can have one or two. If not, we can already finish this this online lecture / webinar / event and go and continue our happy Tuesday. Okay, as I can see, we don't have any other questions. Okay, so thank you for your participation. Thank you for your attention, and thank you for being patient when I was so into details on some of the cases. Thank you for your questions. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to contact me on LinkedIn or Facebook. I'm always in touch. Also, you now have my WhatsApp already, so you can also contact there. We'll be happy to continue our communication, and I think that I will probably plan another webinar, and I would love to hear your feedback on this session. Maybe you can also suggest some of the topics we can go through, or some of the industries you're interested in. And see you soon. Thank you. Bye.